This is Ma'at Ra, Hetep and Ra, Ramesu, Mariaman. And I'm back with another video. Family, I've been off the scene for a while, but I decided to make a video today, and I'm gonna get back into making videos because the world needs to know certain things, because there's a lot going on. It's a whole lot going on in the world, and we need to learn how to get out of the world. We need to learn how to get out of the world so that we can eliminate this anxiety. We can eliminate a lot of fear, a lot of worry that we have. We can eliminate it by simply just not being a part of the world anymore and having a deeper understanding of why we are here and why we manifested into this realm. So today's video is called The Dismantled Soul. That's the name of today's video. It's called The Dismantled Soul. And when I say the dismantled soul, that's the soul that's pretty much destroyed, taken apart, destroyed. A destroyed soul, and it's through your own doing. It's through your own doing. No one is responsible for your soul being destroyed or dismantled but you. It's only up to you. You are the person that's in control of everything that you decide to do within this realm, from your thoughts to your actions to everything. You're the person that is the supreme ruler over thyself. Now, with that being said, the dismantled soul is a person that cannot get past the third center of energy, the energy center. You can't get past the third energy center. You haven't developed past it. So when it's time for your heart to be judged by the nameless one, by the great spirit, God, when it's time for your heart to be judged, it's gonna be found to be heavy. And you don't want to get a heavy heart, because a heavy heart means that you've lived life a certain way. You were an evil person. You weren't good to people, and you may not even been completely 100% evil, but you've done a lot of evil here and there. And they may not even have been super evil things, but things accumulate. If you keep going and going and going and going and going, doing the same thing over and over and over, these things accumulate. So with that being said, the dismantled soul, a soul that's selfish, selfish, uncaring, destructive, deceitful, conniving, jealous, egotistical, any of those things. You have not evolved past the third energy center. And the souls that can't evolve past this stage, they get devoured by the Ammit monster. Okay, and this is in Kemetic mythology, or theology. This is the stories told by the wise sages of Kemet. Now, the Ammit monster it represents something symbolically. Okay, when God comes in and you're judged for the evil or the wrongdoing that you did throughout your life, that judgment is symbolically represented by the Ammit monster, the devourer of souls. Okay, and it simply means that once you die and you go into the spirit world after you've been judged, your heart's been judged, and you've been found to be a person of evil, a person that has not lived by Ma'at, or have not live by the commandments or live by a certain thing, you haven't lived a righteous life, you will experience hellish conditions in the spirit world. You're going to experience hellish conditions. And the deep part about it is it's going to be like a hell you've never experienced on earth. See, a lot of people say we're living in hell right now. No, you have free will. When you get stuck in that hellish condition, you don't have free will at that moment. Your free will is taken away from you. Okay? Until you go through that hellish process, and then you're thrust back into reincarnation, and you take embodiment again. You get a human body and you come back to earth and you're granted free will again. Okay, so, but in the meantime of you being stuck in the spirit realm after death and the judgment, you're experiencing very, very, very hellish conditions. And it's a hell of your own creation. It's a hell that you create. Okay? You subconsciously create this hell through your lifetimes. Okay? And then once you go into the spirit world, you're tortured by the very hell that you created throughout life. All the hell you've given other people. Okay? All the negative energy you've given others, all the mistreatment, all the conniving and jealousy and envious behavior that you've accumulated, all that energy, that becomes your hell. Once you go in the spirit world, that becomes your hell that you create. See how it works? So you're going to be devoured by the Ammit monster. If you're a person that's evil, you're a person that's heartless, you don't care about others, you're selfish, you're unloving, you're a jealous person, you're a person that stabs people in the back, you lie a lot, you deceive people, you make people think that it's something, but it's really something else. You're a person that's going to be devoured by the Ammit monster. Okay, and Ammit it's a metaphor that represents the judgment that's going to be put over you by the Great Spirit. All right, which you chose your side. And then you got to read the consequences. So this is what it is. That's how it is. Your soul is dismantled, it's taken apart, but it's by you, your own acts throughout life, your own actions that you decide to take throughout life. This is what causes this judgment, so to speak, to be casted upon you. You don't follow Ma'at, because Ma'at is the way. Ma'at, truth, justice, righteousness. That's the way. Harmony. That's what Ma'at represents. Those who understand the teachings of Ma'at and know about Hetep and comedics, you understand that Ma'at, just by practicing Ma'at alone, you can transcend time and space. So don't become a dismantled soul. Avoid becoming a dismantled soul. A soul that's going to be destroyed, devoured by the Ammit monster. Symbolically. Because you got some people that are going to come in, he believe in fake monsters and things like that. Look, this is all a science. Comedics is a science. Spirituality is a science. So when the sages of ancient Kemet, or what some call ancient Egypt, when they wrote these teachings, and these priests, when they wrote these teachings, they use metaphors, symbols to get their point across. So Ammit is merely just a representation of a force. So don't be divided by the Ammit monster. Let your heart be as light as a feather. Don't let your heart be heavy. You want your heart to be as light as a feather so that you can transcend time and space and go to the next level in life, and the next level being, becoming one with God and escaping reincarnation. That's the goal. So everybody on this channel, all the people that are subscribed to my channel or become a member of my channel, you're someone that wants to transcend time and space. You're someone that you want to do God's will. You want to do God's work. You're a person of God. And what I mean when I say a person of God, meaning you represent the all. You don't see division. All you see is good and evil. Either you're a good person, a good soul, a good life form, or you're a bad life form, a bad soul, a bad person. It's either one or the other. That's it. There is no in between. You see? So that's what I go by. I don't go by if you're black, white, Chinese, if you're Christian, if you're Muslim, if you're I don't go by any of that. I just go by the fact that you're a good person or a bad person. If you're a bad person, we cannot come together. But if you're a good person, we can definitely come together. And if you're a bad person, we can come together on good things. I'm down with that all day, coming together for good causes. If you are a bad person, because maybe I could get around you and promote some good things and change your views. But that's it. Now I want to look at these energy centers. I want to read about Ammit and the energy centers, because you remember I mentioned about not being able to get past the third spiritual center. These are the people that most likely are going to experience hellish conditions. All right, here we go. The Ammit monster, the monster demon of the judgment scene, the third hippopotamus. Okay, it's 1/3 hippopotamus, 1/3 lion, and 1/3 crocodile. Now, this isn't a literal creature, but our ancestors gave a description of this creature to show how God detests an unrighteous heart. The creature that's waiting for you is so hideous and terrifying that why would anybody want to be unrighteous in the first place? So you got to look at the deepness of this. This is why the ancestors chose to describe this creature in such a way, because God detests an unrighteous heart so much that he will put a hideous creature like this on the judgment, waiting for you, ready to devour you. 1 part hippopotamus, 1/3 lion, and 1/3 crocodile. But so that's just a description of how bad of a situation you are in when your heart is being judged. So let's read here. It says, now this is in the Perm Heru. Ma'at philosophy encompasses the highly mystical teachings related to the psycho-spiritual energy centers and the serpent power, or Arit. In India, this system of spiritual philosophy is known as Kundalini Yoga. The life force energy is latent in the spiritual body of every human being, okay? As it is awakened by following the teachings of Ma'at, it leads a person to awaken in spiritual consciousness. Ma'at presides over the scale as it determines the level of righteousness of the heart of the person in question, which relates to their level of spiritual evolution. There are 7 spiritual centers which operate in the subtle body of a human being, okay? There's 7 centers. But remember, you got to get past the third one. If you can't get past the third one, most likely you're going to experience hellish conditions. They are represented by 7 spheres or chain links. Each represents a psycho-spiritual principle which must be mastered in order to evolve spiritually. Those who have not yet evolved beyond the third center are symbolically devoured by the Ammit monster. All right, okay? And that's when you experience the hellish conditions in the spiritual realm. Now, notice it says symbolically devoured by the Ammit monster. That is to say, they experience hellish conditions as a punishment for wrongdoings in life. That's what we just talked about. Okay, now let's look at why a person that doesn't evolve past the third center is devoured, or why they experience hellish conditions. Okay, what does the first center represent? The first center represents fear and the basic necessities of life, eating and elimination, meaning, you got to make sure you straight over everybody else no matter what. That mentality. Okay, so even if another person has to die to make sure that you eat and your family eat, or you're straight, you're cool with that. Okay, so that's what the first center represents, fear and the basic necessities of life. And in order for you to, murder a person or do anything like that, you have to have some extent of fear. See, this video not about fear, but fear make a lot of y'all do a lot of crazy things. Fear is a reason why the world is the way it is too. A lot of people be afraid of what they don't understand. People fear what they can't comprehend. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong with a lot of people. Fear. You fear the nuclear bombs. You fear the war. You fear this. You fear that. You fear this. Listen. One day we all gonna pass away. I'm not saying don't be intelligent and try to stay alive and, do intelligent things to avoid death. I'm not saying don't do those things. What I'm saying is don't worry yourself to death about what the news is always telling you about what's going on in the world. Just sit back, understand, and prepare. Just in case something goes wrong, you're prepared. But you don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to dwell in fear. Fear is a tactic that they use. Why do you think that they show you scary movies from the time you're a little kid? They say this movie is rated R, a child ain't supposed to watch it, but a lot of parents be letting their children watch scary movies, and they know that. They know that some children are gonna be able to watch it. Some children are gonna sneak and watch it. They know. So even scary movies are used to instill fear in you in a young age. Got you subconsciously worried about monsters. So that's just a fear tactic. Movies instill fear. So fear is a very strong energy, and that's one of the things that keeps you from being able to connect 100% with God. Fear keeps you from being able to connect with all good people, regardless of their race, regardless of, not saying if the person is evil or the person is practicing certain acts that you should embrace them. No. Good people that are practicing the laws of nature and harmony and truth and righteousness, there's nothing wrong with connecting with those type of people. That's what I mean. But fear prohibits a lot of you from being able to do that. So you all fight about who has to connect the correct name of God, and you guys fight over all these different things, and it's just at the end of the day, it's all an illusion. But so fear, you gotta avoid fear, and that's one of that's a part of the lowest energy center. That's the number one. That's very important. Fear is a very important thing. That's something that you want to work on, trying to avoid the feeling of fear. Avoid that feeling as much as you can. Work on it. Okay? There is some extent of fear there in order for you to want to eliminate a person completely off the face of the earth. You know what I mean? So you want to get rid of the fear, the opposition. So that's a way to look at it. That's the first center. All right. The second center represents creativity and sexuality. You see, that's the second center. Okay? And if you look at a lot of people today, they're stuck in sexuality, especially our women, showing themselves on Instagram, the way they're showing themselves, all the different things that's going on. And remember, you're the person that makes that choice. I have my own choices to make, and you have your own choices to make. We all have our own choices to make, but each choice has a consequence. All right, so the second center represents creativity and sexuality. All right, some people would do anything to create content, meaning even if it means hurting other people, putting other people's business out, or anything like that. So I'm just giving you an example. Creativity even sometimes comes at the detriment of other people or the hurting of other people just to create something. You know what I mean? So creativity and sexuality are the second center. All right. And the first, if you look at the first center, fear and the basic necessities in life, and then you look at the second center, which represents creativity and sexuality, these two centers are where a lot of people in the world are stuck at. They can't get past that. And that's what's wrong with the world today. Okay, a lot of us are stuck there in those centers. I've even lived life where I've been like that. So I'm not even excluded in this. All right, so let's look at the third center. And this is where no one ever gets past the first, the second, and the third center. Everyone usually stuck on those three when they die. The third center represents ego, control over others, negative willpower, and personal energy. Negative willpower. Trying to force someone to do something. Trying to make somebody, robbing them, taking something from somebody. Negative willpower. Using your strength and your will and your power to take or destroy from other people, or your ego. And it's all an ego thing. Okay, it's all an ego thing. That's why it's very important to have control over the ego. Now, you see, those three centers, what they all represent. There's very few human beings in the world that get past those three centers. Everyone is usually stuck in those three. Everybody is usually operating in those three energy centers. Those three. Fear and the basic necessities of life. These are the things you chase. Creativity and sexuality. Because a lot of people are sexually promiscuous. And then the third one being ego, which people exercise every single day. Everybody exercises their ego. Nobody can't tell me nothing. I got my own way. I got my own truth. I don't want to hear what nobody else got to say. All that type of energy. All those things represent ego and destruction. So that Ammit is just waiting. Ammit is just waiting. Ammit feeds off of that energy. Ammit feeds off of that. See, in order for there to be an Ammit, there has to be negative people. We all create the Ammit. We keep the Ammit going. It's us. Through our negative ways, selfishness, jealousy, evil. It starts with you as an individual. It starts with you. What are you going to do to avoid Ammit? The ancestors are gathered all around right now. They gathered all around me right now. The energy is all around me because the ancestors know I'm speaking the truth. Fighting over, oh, Allah is the true God. Jehovah is the true God. Yahshua is the true God. Jesus is the true. All of them are the same person. It's the same being. It's the same energy. It's the same energy. But anyway, like I said, don't get divided by the Ammit monster. Be a good soul. Do good things. Do God's will. Practice selfless service. These are the ways you avoid being divided by the Ammit monster. Become one with Ma'at. This is Ursa Ma'at Ra, Hetep and Ra, Ramesu Mariamin, Ma'at Hetep.